about to start.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of No Conduct Radio. Tonight, we are answering your relationship questions as well as answering the question, happy wife, happy life? Is that true? Is that something that we believe? So, that's what we're talking about tonight. And BJ's not here. He's getting ready for Fashion Week. So we got a superstar in the house. So, keep your eyes and ears open for BJ's fashion line because he's in New York getting ready for fashion shows with Fashion Week. He's too good for us. You know how he does. How is everyone doing tonight? We have Char on the line. We have Logic. And, of course, we have Loudmouth Kai right here.
Hi,
Everyone's
I'm
doing okay?
Hello.
What'd you say, Logic?
Gosh. I said, everyone's doing okay. Then I said, oh, God.
Why, because of Char? Hello?
Why? Because I'm weird or super weird. I know. I know.
Because she says
just
fashionable and hot because she's Char A.
Oh.
So, you know what I heard? I was listening to the Kevin and Bean show, and I think they did, like, they found a census or whatever from different dating sites, and they brought the statistics back to the show, and so Logic is kind of correct. Women peak at a certain age, and unsurprisingly, it's way earlier than men. So guess when women peak and start going downhill?
You mean they peak first and then they go downhill? So the peak is the highest point, right? And
yeah. So when women peak and start going downhill in terms of a man's eyes, guess what age that is?
I don't know. That's two different things. I thought peak was a sexual peak, and going downhill just means that your looks are fading.
Oh, my God, could you just answer the question? Answer the question.
I can't. To me, it's two different questions. When they peak, their sexual peak is in their mid-40s, or middle age, mid-40s.
No one's talking about
I didn't say sexual peak.
Well, which one would you say peak? What does that mean?
When do they peak? Oh, my God, that's it. Just in general.
Peak,
if a guy sees a girl, when... Oh, my God, Lord have mercy.
When they're at their best, is that what you mean? And then after that, it's like they go downhill?
I'm going to jump out a window right now. I'm totally going to commit suicide right now. Logic, can you just answer the question?
I can only speak for myself, but I will take a stab in the dark. I'll say probably in their late 20s, anywhere between 27 and 30.
You were being very generous, sir.
I mean, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, for me, it's a little different. But for most guys, they stop looking at chicks when they get to, like, 26, 27. They start looking at younger girls.
Wow. That sounds shocking to me.
According to these stats, women peak at the age of 18.
That makes no sense.
18.
You start, after 18, you start going down. 18 and a half, 19, you're getting up there in age.
Is that socially, or is that backed up by something?
That's got to be some other type of
This is based on all those dating sites out there. So, how many guys click on, So guess
That's
when men
crazy.
peak?
I don't even care at this point. If men are so perverted that they have to have these much younger girls, they're like pedophiles. I don't even care.
You know, how come you don't? Wait a minute. Here's the hypocrisy with you. How come you don't say that when we're talking about women messing with old men because they have money? Isn't that perverse?
Women messing with old men because they have money. Yeah, but these are women, mature age women. I didn't say they were 18 and 17 and a quarter.
No.
Listen,
hold on. You're trying to switch the narrative here. You're saying that men are perverts because they mess with younger girls. Isn't it equally as perverse for young women to be messing with old guys that's older than their father because they have money?
Yeah, okay, but there's no rule against messing with a person that's older. But when you're a man,
there's no rule against messing with a girl that's 18. If there's a 50-something-year-old dude out there and he just has a taste for 18-year-old chicks, technically that's legal.
Just barely.
I mean,
so
yeah.
Logic. That person logic. A lot. What I'm getting, I get what you're saying, but what I'm getting.
Technically, it's legal for this grandfather to pull up to this high school and pick up his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Logic. It sounds disgusting, but it's not illegal. But it is illegal if you're just a little cat under anything under 18. You're a pedophile. Guess what? A lot of these people.
No one said under 18.
But it's just too
close.
And I think that statistic is hogwash.
You're a hypocrite.
Makes no sense.
A hypocrite.
I don't think you can exactly compare the two and twist it the other way and flip it. You know, the older, the younger.
I'm not comparing. I'm saying one perverse is equal to another because it's just as creepy in a different way.
Okay, well, it is creepy, and I on both ends. I agree with that. So that's fair. We'll call it yours there. All right. Okay. But at least I understand the peak, because that peak question didn't make any sense to me. I think, so what they were saying is a woman is the most desirable. Had you said it that way, I would have made, I didn't get it. I'm like, what the heck? Because when I think of peak, you think of sexual peak. When do women peak? They usually, a lot of times they're
Why would
sexually.
you automatically think sexual? So if somebody says,
she's Char.
if somebody says Venus Williams reached her peak in tennis in 2004, you're thinking they're talking about sexual?
No, you just said tennis. Duh, of course not. They mean career-wise. But generally speaking,
but they're talking sports. If they were talking sports and they said Venus Williams, wait a minute. If ESPN was talking about athletes and they said, yeah, Serena Williams reached her peak back when she was 27, you would think they were talking about sexually?
Absolutely not. Once again, we're talking about specifically sports. But that was a very general statement that I had with the article. When do women, it was just so general, when do women reach the peak? I mean, come on, what are you talking about?
That's a general statement, yes. When do women reach their peak? Now, if I say when do women reach their sexual peak, that's when I'm niching it down. But I'm talking in general. When do women reach their peak in the eyes of men?
All right, well. See, I didn't
understood what I was saying.
No, the logic, when you said in the eyes of man, all of that would have helped give me a clue. I didn't understand. That didn't make any sense.
I did say that.
Well, once you gave us the answer, I don't know. Can we move on to another? Can we just kind of move on to another question, or another survey, or another poll, or something? I don't like that poll. I have to like every poll.
Why don't you like it? Why don't you like it?
Just because I think it's ridiculous. I'm wondering where they're getting these statistics from, these so-called people that replied back and did this survey across the world based on this average and that average. I mean, it just sounds ridiculous that 18, that makes no sense. You haven't even started living your life at 18 years old. You're still practically a child. You're a teenager. I mean, you're a young adult teenager. You're barely an adult. In some countries, probably not even that. So to me, that just sounds ridiculous. That's probably based on America, like the USA or something.
Well, this is coming from the standpoint of men, not women. So my question is, when do you think men peak on average?
When they become less desirable to us. It's the opposite. Women like men, I think they're probably more mature on average, probably, because, men are less mature than women in general. So I don't know.
Hold on. Where is this idea that men are less mature as women? Where's that coming from?
It's not an idea, Sir Logic. Have you not heard that specifically before? It is something that has been over time. It's been spoken based on what science, not even scientific, the brain itself and the way that we think, as opposed to the way men think. But that's always been a fact. Women are more mature than men. That's just always been a fact.
Okay, I'm still waiting for you to cite your evidence because you just started about 3 times and never finished the sentence.
Heard that because it's kind of like appalling to me. You've never heard that. It's just been something
Where
that has been
did you hear that from? Who told you that?
The entire world, Logic. Can you go argue with the rest of the world?
The entire world told you that.
Yes, I've heard that my entire life, no matter what environment I've been
Char,
in, no matter who I'm around.
Listen to me. Men are not less mature than women.
Sure,
that's a myth. Okay? Females physically start to mature sooner than males in their adolescent years, but that doesn't mean mental maturity at all. So I don't know where you're getting at.
30, yeah. That's what they're referring to. They're not talking about physically. I know you've heard that statement. Kai, you grew up in the islands. I know everything is different. You've heard it too?
I've heard it.
Okay,
yep.
well, there's a reason that we've heard it, Kai, honestly.
You know what else you heard? You know what else they say? They say black people can't learn as well as non-black people. You know, they say that Asians are better at arithmetic and STEM research. Based on what? No one knows. They just say it because of what? They see a bunch of Asians and, Chinese guys and Indians in MIT and stuff like that. That it has nothing to do with the fact that over 1 billion Chinese people, a lot of them are not brilliant. They're just regular people like everyone else. Some smart, most dumb. Just like here. Some smart people, most of us are dumb. That's the world. That's why the world is the way it is. There is no correlation between gender being better at this mentally or racially you're predisposed to that. I think me and Kai was just talking the other day about how people were under the impression that black people just have higher blood pressure just because they're black. It's just a thing with black people. Never mind the fact that most of us socially in this country are living in hard areas where there's a lot of danger, a lot of crime, and there's a lot more strife that we go through that keeps us elevated to the point of ready to snap. Okay, you take the average white person that lives in those same neighborhoods, they have high blood pressure too because it's just hard living. It is what it is. But they just rather, lean back on statistics.
Well, Logic, that's all interesting. I hear you stating your facts, but there is a website called Universal Intelligence, and they're among many others.
A website called Universal Intelligence.
And they're among many other not just websites, but many other organizations or studies or what have you that it can actually prove that the brains mature differently with women than men, to work literally, not just scientifically, but
maturing differently and being more mature is two different things. Which one are you saying?
No, it's not me because this is not my study or my survey. This is based on, it says scientifically it has been proven that women are more intelligent than men based on their actual brain development or something. So if you think of that, how does that sound to you? I mean, hello.
It sounds like nonsense.
Wow.
It sounds like a bunch of pseudoscience to me.
It's possible, but it's funny how I'm pretty sure that no matter what walk of life you come from, no matter where you live in the world, at some point most of us have probably heard that. So, it is what it is.
Listen, you keep trying to act like because you heard something a lot that makes it true. There's a lot of things that you hear a lot that are nonsense.
I just
Why
told
do you keep saying that?
I just told you this. There's not just one particular website that I'm pointing out, it's all listed as that.
Oh, so because it's on the internet, it must be true.
There's a reason why they say. I'm sure it's in encyclopedias too. If you don't want to go to Google, because
encyclopedias are saying that women are more intelligent than men. Is that what you're telling me?
My point is, when I say it's all over the web, it doesn't have to be on the internet. It could be written information throughout time, opposed to just your opinion. Your opinion doesn't always mean
you know what? Then women are the most polite for walking this earth, because they're so much more intelligent than men, but they just happen to just allow us to be scientists and dominate the STEM research fields just out of the kindness of their hearts, because, that STEM is nothing to the average woman who has much more intelligence than the average man.
That's called chauvinism, just like how I've still been.
Wait, no, hold on. How can it be chauvinism if women are much more intelligent than men? They just happen to not to go into engineering and being doctors and just being able to outclass dudes because they're much more intelligent innately.
And
that's basically what you're saying.
But how do we know that there isn't a larger percentage of women that actually are, but they're not being hired because there's men as the leadership in these organizations?
I just said because they're being polite. They're being polite. They want us to have high self-esteem for ourselves as men. So this is the reason why they refuse to do what is becoming natural to them, which is to, be scientists. They're just deciding to not go into that because it's easier for them. They're more intelligent. However, if women thought like men and didn't care, then more than likely they would dominate those fields and wouldn't care what a man felt or what he thought, and they would revel in the fact that they can rub it in his face like, yeah, most of us are scientists and you're not, like they do everything else. But no, they're just being,
But Logic,
nice
do you
to
realize
us.
Logic, do you not believe there aren't other fields that a woman can go into, or other interests that would prove that where intelligence is needed besides being a scientist? Obviously, I'm not going to argue with a rocket scientist or any type of scientist, but I'm saying even the medical field, you don't consider that to be a field of science. You know how many women are doctors these days? I did not say. I said these days. I said, you know how many women are doctors?
There's more men doctors than there are women. Most women in the medical field are nurses. But if you're asking me my personal opinion, I don't think a woman can't do anything intellectually that a man can do. I think they can do all of that. They just choose not to. I don't know why. I think women have a different motivation of what they look for. Most careers that you'll find that women go after are usually social and emotionally gratifying, where men typically go after fields that are just hard and they're thinking about money. Like, okay, I got to be an engineer because engineers make this much. Women's motivation is different. So I think they could do anything when it comes to mentally. The only thing I think women can't compete with men on is physical things. Men are stronger, faster, bigger, whatever. And it's, whether women want to be offended by that, that's their choice. But when it comes to mentally, no, I don't think there is anything they can't do if they really wanted to do it. But for some reason, women don't want to do it. They don't have something where they want to compete with other engineers and scientists. I mean, it's happened, but it's rare. It's usually rare women that go into that field and start shutting stuff down. Like, I think the scientist that discovered the radiation was a woman. Nobody knew what it was before she found it and figured out what was happening. So, I mean, it happens.
Okay, well, that's well enough said. I can agree with that because we did discuss this a while back, maybe a few years ago, specifically that, and now that is a proven point that we don't choose, for whatever reason, to go into certain fields that are more challenging, mentally challenging, or whatever it would be, and of course they're higher paying too. So, Kai.
Yeah, but you need to stop with this idea that they're smarter. That's a sexist thought process. and you need to cut that out. And
No,
the
no, no,
idea
no.
that
Actually,
they are,
no. Actually, no. Let me correct myself. Excuse me. I cannot say they're smarter. I was saying there's a website called Universal Intelligence in which they're proving that the reason they believe that women are more mature is because of the brain, the actual brain matter itself seems to be developed differently or what have you.
yeah, I got you, but there was a point in the conversation that you did say that they were smarter. You did say that. And then the other thing is, to get back to the root thing, the reason that girls tend to mature faster physically than boys is because of the reproductive cycle that women go through as far as being able to have babies or whatever. They mature faster because they have to, I guess, biologically have to be able to. No, it's not resilience. It's just it's not resilience. Mm-hmm. It's just when you're in your younger age, that's the best time for you to have babies. So I think biologically that's why women mature very quickly. But no, it's not intelligence.
Okay, well, I agree it's not intelligence. I agree. They just said mature as in making decisions more maturely, just thinking of, maybe handling conflict or creative resolve. I don't know, but that's when Kai said she's heard that before, I'm thinking that it was the general statement of maturity as in personality, handling things differently than men in that way. I wouldn't say that we're smarter. And if I said that, then I stand corrected. Kai, can you agree with that?
Women mature physically faster than men, but men continue, I guess, growing physically longer than we do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did anybody understand that? Everybody got all quiet.
No, because
I didn't know if you were going any further, but yes, you're absolutely right. Men can continue.
Personality-wise, men just appear to possibly be less mature than us up here again. I don't know, this is my opinion. I think because of all the stress that they do have to deal with later in life, why start dealing with it when you're younger? You got to deal, and I know people are going to email me for this one, but you got to deal with your woman. You got to deal with work. You got to deal with other men. It's a bunch of stress they have to deal with later in life. So women want to, most women for some reason want to reach adulthood fast. I don't know. Even when they're teenagers, they just want to be accepted as adults. I'm an adult. And then if you have women like me who, I was like the boys in terms of I used to still play games when I was like in high school while the girls were sitting there talking about their hair, their makeup, boys, and all this stuff. I wasn't on that level. So if you're like a girl like that, then you're considered weird. So I don't know. I think it's just maybe that's just how, genetically they were made, because later on in life they already have a bunch of stress, so they need to chill out for a longer period than women. That's what I think. And yes, this is Kai. You can email me on Facebook.
That was
all the feminists can now commence to emailing me.
I'm still, that was an interesting analogy. But I'm still leaning towards the original, if you want to call it a myth, logic, or wives' tale, what have you. I still think it really means that we make decisions more maturely than men as we are growing into women.
No, it's not. No, because women make. Don't get me wrong. Women do make good decisions. However, women also make decisions based on emotions, and then they'll make the decision. The man has to calm us down, and then we both make the correct decision together.
Dare she say?
No, you don't agree?
Boys want to play video games until they're 16. Women see the importance.
But what does that have to do with anything? Just because you de-stress by playing video games, what does that have to do with the price of cheese and anywhere?
Here's my question. Do you think women back in the Gilded Age were walking around with their friends talking about, all he wants to do is play chess all day with his buddies? It's like dudes play games to be competitive and to keep the edge It's already been proven that video games, because video games are the current day board games. They don't make board games anymore because the technology has moved past that. But it's known for a fact that games that make you think and strategize keeps your neuroplasticity at its highest level. So why would you want a dude that is just going to stare at the wall or wait for an activity that you decide or something, or if he has another interest that he's into, what's the problem? He could be out smashing another chick.
Logic, there's board games at Walmart and Target. They still make them, but what you're saying is they're not as
Okay,
in demand.
what's the difference?
You're debating the medium of the game. What difference does it make whether he's playing baccarat, chess, dominoes, or whatever, or he's on the computer or on his PlayStation or Xbox playing whatever game he's playing? It's still him occupying his free time stimulating him. Why would you care?
But Logic, the games are just a narrative. That's not the whole point. The whole point is this. Men just seem to be just less mature about a lot of decisions in life that women...
Why is that less mature?
I have a question. I have a question, and you're probably going to get annoyed at me, but I have a question. In your relationship, who has the business and makes the most money?
Who has the what first? What's the first part of the question?
The business and makes the most money.
Okay, why would I get mad? He does. You guys don't know that.
Because this is proving my point. You're saying men are less mature and they make less wiser decisions than women. So in your relationship, who has the business? Who has the business and makes the most money?
Look, hi, the wife
your dude has a business. Your dude has a business, and to put the cherry on top, he's younger than you. So he had to have made great decisions to get where he is. I'm not saying he's the best decision maker out there, but he's made great decisions to get where he is now. And he's younger than you.
By a few years, but yes, he is younger than me.
It doesn't matter. He's younger than you. It doesn't matter. So this is my point. You can't just walk around saying women are better decision makers. I mean, in some instances, yeah, and in some instances, no. It's not just a blanket statement. You can't do that.
It's not even just that. It's not like it's, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get to the bottom of why this myth is out there in the first place, because there's so many people who have heard the same thing. Obviously, there's something behind it, and I'm going to find out.
I can save you some time. I can save you some time.
Logic.
It's because, listen, you have to identify there is an unstoppable machine out there that everything women do, they try to hype it up like it's the best thing ever. If you look at the rules in school right now, everything that is usually something boys would do, dodgeball, tag, or just be, overall just having a lot of wiry energy or whatever, they stamp it down and say it's wrong. And if any of these young boys nowadays are too hyper, they put them on drugs to calm them down. Girls are usually the calm ones in class because they are more social. They are more socially interactive with each other. So that's what, talking and building emotional bonds. Boys are more competitive. It's just, so it's constant they're trying to do. But the current age in schooling right now is just completely stomping that out. So everything is catered more towards, they need to be more like this, which is essentially be more like girls. There's constantly the same thing. Like this movie, what's her name? Emma Stone? Is that the one that was in the Spider-Man movie a couple years ago? Emma Stone, right?
Yeah, Emma Stone. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So Emma Stone was in a movie where she plays this tennis player, and she went after, like she did a tennis match with a guy, but they're not telling you in the story this guy was like retired, and he wasn't like he didn't take the match seriously or whatever. But they're trying to trump it up as if it was some major victory for women. Like, you see, they can beat and blah blah blah. Because the narrative is to make men, not what they are, and make women better than them in every way possible, even if they have to stretch the truth. They got on John McEnroe a while ago because they asked him about Serena Williams. He was like, yeah, she's an incredible player. Somebody said, what do you think, how would you rank her? He said, yeah, she's the best female player in the world. Some non-sports chick said, why wouldn't you just say best player? He said, because she's not. The best player is a guy. And he said whatever the guy's name is. I don't know. I don't follow tennis. But he was just like, no. He said, it is what he said. But she would tell you that. If she was going to be honest, she would tell you that she can't beat the top tennis guy. She can't even beat the top 10, like the guy that's in 10th place. Like, it's because the
hasn't
physical.
She said that, or she hasn't?
She hasn't. Put it this way, to give her credit, she's being very coy. She doesn't come out and say it, but she definitely doesn't say that I'm the best player in the world. She doesn't say that. And one day she played the guy that ranked like 200th because she saw him warming up or something one day and decided that she wanted to do like a warm-up or exhibition match with him. He destroyed her. He was the 200th male player in the world. And the lie about this whole thing is, if women are really trying to say that physically they can do whatever and compete with a man, then just get rid of all gender divisions. So in boxing, let it just be one, men and women. And let's see how many women heavyweights pop up. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the Olympics, don't divide it anymore. Don't divide it anymore when it comes to the Olympics. And I guarantee you, it will never be another female Olympian that wins anything physically. Swimming, running, or whatever. Maybe marksmanship and archery or whatever. They can obviously compete on the same level. But no, it will never. Women would never win again. But they know that. That's why it's divided. So this whole lie, like, it's just men being patriarchal. It's not. It's just you can't get around it. It is what it is.
So we strayed so far from the question, it's not even funny. We still haven't answered the question of when men peak in women's eyes.
Oh, when peak in women's eyes? When he's broke.
Yeah. When you say?
When he's broke.
I laugh because like younger guys, so I wouldn't really know. I've never gravitated towards older men, but I've had older relationships, like
You ever been with a younger guy that works at Subway for a living?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No, I have not. I have not. No. Nope.
I don't understand why you're such a douchebag.
Nope.
So
younger by 2 years, so they're still mature. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying they're always 30. I'm not saying that. I just, for whatever reason, we've already talked about this. Younger guys are drawn to me more than anything, and I'm physically more attracted to them, but they are drawn to me because they always think I'm like their age. Even if I don't open my mouth, I could be wearing the most sophisticated, mature, outfit. I don't have to even speak. They just, when they look at me, they just think that I'm 20 years younger. So that's what happens. And then
do you think that any of the young guys might have had a mommy issue?
No, absolutely not. They literally think I'm their age, and they don't even believe it when I tell them my age. And they're just like, well, you just look, and you have such a youthful spirit. You look, whatever, 32 or whatever, 20, whatever it was at that time. And I know that because when I used to do interviews as a model, that was something my fans would always ask me, like, how do you appear to have such a youthful, everything? And so it was just something that's just always been a part of me. I didn't ask for that. And it's true. It's true. I mean, it's honestly true. So that has a lot to do with why my relationships tend to fall on the younger side. So it's not like I could really even answer that question about when they peak. How would I know? I had a couple of sugar daddies that are obviously older, but they weren't true relationships. So, I mean,
I think we just forgot who we were talking to. That's all. Sorry.
Apparently so. Well, anyway, okay. Can I say this? Can I just say something? God forbid.
So
God
the
forbid
answer,
anything happens
after the longest answer from Char in the history of mankind.
Yeah, always. But can I just make this one statement? God forbid anything happens to Sir Charles and I, right? I will never go back to
Sir
the
Charles.
32-year-old. His name is Charles. I'm being facetious. You heard what I said. Now, my son, my 32-year-old son, just
was it Duke of Vegas?
The pretty much. They call him the King of Las Vegas. It's a long story. Because in his business, he is the king. I mean, it's like he's known all over for being.
Okay, we got it. What did you need to say?
No, but this is finished. Kai, can you please? Can you be the babysitter for him, because he just won't let me finish. What I'm saying is, my 32-year-old son. Okay, I haven't seen him in a long time. By the way, he just flew in from Pennsylvania early this morning, and I am like so super excited about this visit, whatever. But he's 32 years old. When I look at him, I see a child. Because, yeah, I'm his mom, but he's just freaking young. I will never revert back to anything like that again. So when I say younger, I mean 3.5 years or so, maybe 5 years, maybe 6 years.
Well, what age do you consider young?
I just gave you an example. That's too young. I will never do that again. My last relationship.
I don't know how old your son is.
What was that?
30-something.
I don't know how old your son is.
I'm sorry, Logic. I thought you heard me. I was saying my 32-year-old son flew in this morning from Pennsylvania. 32. When I look at him, it makes me feel kind of silly about my previous relationship, who literally had me going to fertility clinics. Okay, this guy swore he was.
What? Wait a minute. So what stopped you from seeing it then? Wait a minute. What are you talking about? Like, why would you not have known it when you were in it at the time?
It wasn't easy to see that, Logic, because he actually had an old soul as well. He really did. He looked young, obviously. The young sentiment look. No, I'm really serious. And for him, it was the opposite for me. I was the opposite. I was the younger soul. I was the younger everything. If anything, he thought competitively we were the same age when you look at me physically and because of my youthful spirit. But he was the one that acted my age more so. He was very, very mature for his age. He had a lot of issues, you guys know that, but I'm saying, even though he was only 32, it was like, oh, my God. Actually, he was 31 when we first started dating.
Oh, my God.
Then he turned 32 during the course of the relationship.
Logic. Why do you ask her questions? Logic.
You act like she wouldn't continue to go if I didn't say anything. We're talking about a peak or not. I'm telling you, I couldn't answer the doggone question because I don't have any interest or enough experience with a man that was considered to be older, much older than me. I mean, even my 10-year relationship you guys knew about, he was only 10 years older than me. But when I was 40, he was 50. So to me, he was ancient. Now he's 60, so he's super ancient to me. But then all right. So she has no reference on, dudes losing, being beyond their peak.
I don't know if I can continue with the show. I think brain cells died. I
think with women, it's mostly based on resources, and it's not physical. Well, I mean, it is, but it's not. I think that's less important. For men, physical is much more important. So that's why I think women, peak in men's eyes quicker.
That's probably true.
That's about true. So men actually in women's eyes.
Wow.
Which I could see. I could see because there are a bunch of older guys that I think are hot.
You're talking about an average.
Especially these days, maybe.
An average 50, right? Because technically, let's see.
50's the new 40, so I don't know which 50
Robert
we're
Downey
talking
Jr. Robert Downey Jr. is about 50. And I think chicks still look at him like he's a viable option. I mean, take his money away, but if he just looked like he did, I think chicks would still talk to him if he was an average guy.
Well, I didn't start liking Brad Pitt till his late 40s.
Oh no, I can pinpoint it. I remember when you lost your mind because you called me and asked me if I saw Troy. I was like, yeah. Oh my God, did you see? I'm a
so
dude.
hot.
I wasn't looking at him like that. Yeah.
So hot. I was in love with that guy since that movie. It was that movie. And then I went back to watch him in previous movies, and I don't like the younger. I don't really like. He's handsome, but I like the older Brad Pitt. Up until now, he's starting to look old, like grandpa old. So I'm like, not anymore.
But that's that divorce doing that to him.
Yeah, probably.
Well, okay.
Well, let's see how old he is now. Because Troy came out in 2000.
He's 53 or 56 now. He's 50-something now. So yeah, it got about right. So around 50s and the 50s, it was like, okay, lost interest. But in the 40s, he was hot.
He was born in 63. So
I didn't know that.
2003 he was 2004 he was 41.
He's
so he was
55.
still young-ish.
Right.
So that
he was
41.
Hot then.
So he
was
didn't
more
catch
hot
your eye
then than he
until
was
hit
at 20.
41.
Yeah.
Okay. So he didn't.
And then
he didn't catch
Arnold
your eye until 41.
Arnold Schwarzenegger looked hot in. Was that Terminator 3? I mean, he looks good in 2, but he looks better in 3.
I'll be back.
Terminator 3. Rise of the Machines, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2003. Let's see, Schwarzenegger's age. When he was born. He was born at 47. So,
oh my God! Hi, he's way
wow,
older.
was he?
What? Yeah.
What made you think he was only in the 50s?
So
I can't even imagine
he was 56 by the time he caught your eye.
Wow.
Oh, that's funny. Well, Kai,
so 41 and 56.
Hey, Elijah, since she likes the men with foreign accents, what about Idris Elba? The black man with the.
What,
with the
I don't know who Idris Elba is. I mean, I don't really think.
What
he's
era
hot.
of Idris
I mean, he's
are
all
you
right.
talking about?
But a lot of other women do, Kai, is my point, and I guarantee he's probably like 52. That's my point.
My
he's
question
like
is, what era of Idris are you talking about? Because he was skinny and young back in the day, and now he's kind of grizzled and older now. So
if that's the case, I like grizzled and older.
Okay, so let's see. Let's see how old he is.
Who is that?
All right, he was born in 72.
Oh,
so he's about.
Oh, he's not even 50.
Yeah.
Well, barely. No.
He is 50. What are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah. Well, barely. Yeah.
Yeah, he's what's that, about 46?
Yeah. No. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because Because
it looks like on my end, Char only gets with guys younger than her, which I can't understand that. But it looks like on my end, it's about the average, 50. Yeah, 50. It starts going downhill for me.
Well, I mean, honestly, my next relationship, I don't want anyone younger than like 45. Charles is 47. So, and I mean, I'm like, I don't know. To me, I think I'm more attracted to 50.
I don't like guys younger than me. You're either my age or older, and that's it. And yes, a lot of guys who are younger than me come up to me because they think I'm their age.
You're younger.
I've had a 21-year-old come up to me, and I'm like in my upper 30s. So
Idris is dating a girl 16 years his junior.
Good Lord. What did you say, Char?
So Kai feels the experience like she goes through the same experience. That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? I have a younger
experience, but I don't go for them. I don't like younger guys. Like for what?
No, I'm saying that they're drawn quite drawn to you. Maybe would you say a good number of, or just every now and then it's like a younger guy's like, hey, oh my God, I thought you're my age. I'm like 26. Like, I mean,
most of guys who try and talk to me are younger than me.
Okay, that's my point. Logic. But I'm just physically. I'm a visually stimulated person. I'll just say that. So I'm a visually stimulated person. So I'm younger, guys with the muscles, and it's terrible. That's my problem anyway. So because when you like someone for that reason,
well, you know what? That's an interesting question.
You're in trouble.
How important is it for a man to be built like a brick shit house? Like what is how high up on like
for
me
let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, it would be like an 8.5, 8.75.
Wait a minute. Okay. All right. Hold on. So if you had to pick 3 qualities in a guy, would one of those be he's in shape?
Definitely.
Wow.
Logic. I don't know, but I'm the same way. I'm absolutely the same way.
Yeah, but your idea of in shape and my idea of in shape is 2 different things. Like if you try and tell me, oh, he's cut, I'll be like, he's skinny. My idea of in shape is like
you like beefcake.
No, I like stocky.
Yeah.
No, I prefer stocky. I over skinny. No. Stocky, tall, solid. No, that's my type, definitely. Not necessarily. I'm not like for example, my son. He thinks he's all that. He is so freaking skinny. I showed him my gym off the bedroom. He goes, but Mom, I don't even really work out anymore. Like I don't even lift. I probably need to lift. I'm like, no, you absolutely need to lift because women like muscles. Like you just think you're just going to get by on your look. Like it's just funny to me. I don't know. I don't know why he has all these chicks after him personally. I think girls, like guys that are a little bit more solid, more mature looking physically. I think you look like a little kid when you just walk around really skinny. But
wow. That's hardcore for a mother to say.
I was thinking that I wasn't going to say anything, though.
But listen,
Okay.
Like so it's not his fault.
So next question. In terms of education, when do you think, like how far up the education chain is it okay for a woman to go in a man's eyes before he loses interest?
Oh, that's a weird question. So women that
high
are
school,
career,
bachelor's degree, master's degree, when do you think?
Like career college women that stay in college forever because they just want to always be in school, and eventually it's like, come on, really?
Logic. I'm gonna ask you a question. Was my question clear cut, or did it need more questions?
Very.
Oh, okay.
No,
that was very clear cut.
Sure.
No, it was elaboration. That's why I elaborated for all the listeners. Logic thinks he knows it all, so I don't have to elaborate for him.
I didn't say anything. I'm just letting you talk.
I'm just.
But I can answer the question as the resident guy. Dudes don't care about what a woman's education is. She could be as dumb as a box of rocks.
On average, based on that stat, there is a level. So, Char, are you gonna guess?
You're saying that there's a level that a man requires a woman to be educated?
No, not requires her. He starts losing interest after a certain level.
Oh, right. You mean her going up in education?
Yeah. That's what I just said, a career student. Okay. They will never get out of school because they always have to keep, getting a higher degree. That's another 4 years, and just to prove something, I don't know what. A lot of people do that. And that can be tiresome in a relationship.
So what does it say?
So basically, if a woman gets anything after a bachelor's degree, men are less interested in her.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was going to say. They're not waiting for that master's.
And then for a man, if a man has like a master's or a doctorate, women are more interested in him.
They're getting their kudos.
Yeah, because they start doing that math.
More money.
Oh, you get a lot of money.
So for an average woman, what do you think are the top 3 traits they look for in a guy?
Physical, visually appealing, which is the first. We just talked about that. Sense of humor. A lot of women say that. They really
say that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be number 2 though. You're mixing them up. So visual, sense of humor, the third one.
Financially stable. Even though that's not realistic.
So it's financially stable is number one. Then probably sense of humor, and then everything else after that, attractiveness. People, they don't really care about attractiveness. It's just financially stable. That's it.
That's a shocker.
Well, that's
and the funny thing is, based on a test, women would more do a one-night stand with a hot dude and marry the dumpy dude than vice versa.
I could believe that. I totally believe that. Because people have one-night stands because
I want the hot guy. How is that a thing? You would have a one-night stand with a hot guy and then marry the dumpy dude. I don't.
Because they're insecure.
Just get with the hot guy?
Because they're insecure. They don't think that they could keep a good-looking dude like that. So they rather get a dude that's homely and that they know is just going to be falling over himself so happy that he got this chick in his life, and she doesn't want to sit there and have to make sure that she keeps ahead of the competition with this hot dude that can get a chick as soon as he walks outside.
Yeah, and the frumpy dude is looking up to her. Like, oh, my God, you're the epitome of everything in life. You're so beautiful. You're so amazing because he's frumpy or dumpy or whatever. And it is a competitive thing. I think a lot of women do feel that way. Logic, I definitely agree with that.
So do you? Char, have you heard this phrase that a woman should get with a guy who loves her more than she loves him?
Yes, I've heard that.
Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Wow.
You do? Wow.
Yeah, I do. You know why? Because there's probably, I would just hope that going in there'll be less issues that we'll be able to work out, because a lot of times I feel like when people do yeah, I'm just telling you, a lot of men
You are so full of shit. Oh my God.
Unless that doesn't mean that. Maybe that's not what that statement means. Maybe I was twisted about that. But if that's what it means.
No. Listen, don't try to act like you're confused. Why would you say it would be better to be in a relationship with a guy who loves you more than you love him? Why would that be?
I feel like he's probably going to go the extra mile when we have issues that we have to get through. I just told you that. Because the average guy, I feel like, doesn't care about really working things out, talking about anything, really getting past your hurdles.
Well, perhaps. Did you ever think that perhaps that you've never gotten with a guy that's really loved you?
No, that's not true. That is not true at all. The average guy is probably like you. The average guy is probably like you. They think that women don't have much to bring to the table. So if you love me more than I probably love you, I'm going to definitely grow and learn to love you equally. And believe me, that's not hard to do if you're loving me more than I love you. Come on, because you're not.
Listen, this has nothing to do with ideology. You're saying that you essentially want your husband to be more emotionally committed to you than you are to him. So my thing is, how is that going to make anything easier? Like, you know, whatever problems you say may arise, it's not going to help any problems that you have in your relationship, besides the fact that you can walk away from him easier than he could walk away from you. So why would you want that? What's the real reason that you would want that upper hand?
I'm going to tell you this one more time. I feel like the average guy thinks the way you do, that women don't have much to bring to the table. And so if
it
that
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Hold on. Let me tell you why it doesn't matter. I can feel. Let me explain to you, Char. I can feel as a man that my girl does not impact the quality of my life in the fact of I'm still going to have my apartment, I'm still going to have my car, I'm still going to have my money and whatever. She doesn't impact that, okay? But if I love her for the reason of the way that she makes me feel, the way I feel about her, the way she feels about me, and our interaction, that's what's important to me. You know, like I told you before, like I stopped talking to chicks before over conversation because I don't have that connection and that camaraderie with you. All we're doing is just having sex and just, waiting for the clock to run out. It's a waste of time. Beat it. I don't need that. So my thing is, even if I felt she's not increasing my life in this tangible way, I could still be very much in love with my wife or my girl or my fiance or whatever because of who she is, not what she brings.
Well, that's an interesting take when you talk so much about what a woman can't bring to the table. So that's why I made that statement anyway. But that's absolutely not my situation anyway. We love each other equally. I'm certain of it. So, but
you see how she just dodged all of that I just said?
Yeah.
You totally did not answer the direct question that I just asked you.
Told you. I just said I feel like the average guy thinks like you and feels like a woman can't bring anything to the table, so they feel like
what difference does that make, Char? If he is crazy about you and he thinks the world of you, what difference does it make whether he thinks that you bring enough tangible things to his life? What difference does it make? If you're broke and you have, wait a minute, if you're broke and you have nothing, this man owns a company, has several properties around, but he really loves you and the way that you watch TV and say dumb shit all day. He loves it, and that's the end all be all to him. What difference does it make to you?
Well, what difference
Why
does
would
it make?
you want to be less? Wait a minute. Why would you want to be less in love with him than he is with you? Why?
Because it doesn't matter. What difference? You think that's not going to happen? That we'll be page. I mean, I know that I'm on an equal page with Charles.
Wait a minute. You said it doesn't matter if you don't love him as much?
No, because you're going to be on an equal plane at some point. There's no uneven like that. Because if someone is showing you that type of love and support and affection, do you think
it's not equal if you love him less, Char? That is the definition of not being equal. If you don't love him as much as he loves you, it's not equal. It's just like whatever woman is very much in love with her husband. Wait a minute. Listen. It's just like, you in specific. It's just like the situation you were in. You were married to somebody, and let's say you really loved your first husband, but he beat the shit out you, so he didn't love you as much as you loved him. Was that even? Was that an even relationship?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, so this is the same thing.
For any relationship, there's always going to be someone who loves that person more than the other one does. There's no way.
Says who?
Until you get to know each other and until you develop time and experiences together over time, and then I believe you can equally love each other on the same level. But think
you're
about it. There's always more.
No, what you're doing is you're backpedaling and you're trying to take away what you just said. What you really feel is the best situation for you to be in is to kind of like the guy, but he loves you very much. And that's sad.
No, kind of really love the guy because I absolutely love. And if I'm in a really committed relationship, I love that person. But there are levels to love. It's
not. No, it's not. See, and I hate when people say that. There is no levels. When you're talking about a love between a man and a woman or a relationship, whatever relationship you're in, there is no levels to it. Either you love that person or you don't. And you're just together because it's convenient and you get something from this person. A lot of dudes will get with a lot of chicks because it's in-house coochie and they don't have to work too hard for it. And then they go out and they play when her back is turned. That's why they can destroy this woman and not blink an eye, and then only when they get caught do they, oh, baby, I love you, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. That's why those guys do that, because they don't love that woman. If you loved her, it would hurt you to think of her facial expression when you told her, I was talking to somebody today. That alone would destroy that guy, and he wouldn't do it. Just like any woman who's keeping numbers or has some kind of book buddies that she's letting inbox her or whatever, you don't love your husband if you're doing that. You don't, because you're keeping dudes on backup just in case something goes wrong. So instead of having the idea of whatever goes wrong, I'm going to work on my relationship because I love my husband. No, you're already looking at the back door like, all right, this is my exit strategy. That's not love. That's convenience.
And you know what? If that person loves me more, then whatever goes wrong, he's going to be willing with me to work on the relationship.
How convenient
That's how that
for you.
would go. No, it's not convenient. I don't believe you just can't love someone and then the other person just loves you more. I'm talking about you both love each other. I'm not talking about you like that person kind of a lot and they love you. No, that's not what I'm saying. To me, that makes no sense. That's not a committed relationship to me. All right,
how about this? Wait a minute. How about this? Would you feel that it was fair for you to be working at a company and you go to your boss and say, I want a raise and I want to take a vacation next week. And, I know our vacation pay is $20 an hour. And the boss says, well, first of all, no, you're not getting a raise. And in fact, I'm going to decrease your money. And you can take off all you want, but I'm not paying you. And then somebody else comes up next to you and says, I want to take off next week and I want a raise. And he gives it to him. And you ask why. He says, well, they're just a little bit more of an employee than you are. You're kind of an employee, but not really. You either are or you aren't. You're working there, right? You're clocking in, right? Then you're an employee. That's it. It's the same thing with a relationship. You're in there. So if the two of you get together and you say, I love you, well, I love you too. There is no levels to it unless you tell that person from the jump. When that man tells you, I think I'm falling in love with you, then you need to be woman enough and brave enough to grab your, proverbial balls and say, oh, well, I love you kinda. But if it goes wrong, I'm out of here. I just want to let you know. So, I don't know how you feel about that.
That's not my experience. That's not my experience. I'm laughing because we're not on the same page. That's why I'm laughing, because that's not my experience. I wouldn't be in a committed relationship where I didn't feel that I totally, fully love that person with everything in me.
You sure you want to finish that statement, Char?
That person doesn't love me more. That's what I'm saying.
Are you sure you want to finish that statement, Char?
Absolutely.
We know your history.
Good for you. And if you knew my history, when I love hard. That's what you probably don't know.
Kimmy. It never ceases to amaze me how much women say the same things as all the rest of them. You sound like you're reading out of a playbook. You love hard. What does that mean? You just said that you think there's levels to it. So
logic, it means you're not half-assed about it. It means that you make those sacrifices. It means that when you say you mean something, you mean it and you do it. It means that you support 100%. And you mean
like being in love with somebody?
Conditional love. So that's what loving heart means. Everything.
How can you feel love is unconditional when you just said that you think there's different types of love in a relationship?
Because
that's not unconditional. That's conditional.
I can't tell somebody else they don't love me more. Maybe they do. Because when you first start to date, there's always someone else that's making more of an impression.
Okay, Char. That's conditional. Okay? So your love is conditional.
I don't think so. No,
you don't want to admit that to yourself?
No. You know what? Okay, you know what? Let me say this. In my last relationship, it probably was, because in the back of my mind, I always knew, there's no way in hell I'm going to really write this all the way out. I'm not going to, I'm just faking off this whole baby thing about.
Now, did you tell him that?
No, I was dishonest.
That's exactly
my point. But how
can
anybody be stupid to really think that I was actually serious? He couldn't have been that dumb anyway. He just was joking.
No.
Wow.
See, again, you're pulling a typical girl move like, well, he should have. No, you decided that you was going to stay in the relationship as long as it benefited you, and then when you had a better option elsewhere, you left. That's what you did, because your love is conditional.
No, it wasn't a benefit. I just thought that, how women say they think they can change someone? That's what I was waiting around for.
Oh, my goodness gracious. She's going down the list.
This is the truth. I'm telling you the truth. Women convince themselves that they can change that person. So that's what I stuck it out for.
Really?
And you can't.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, that's the truth. So, and one day I just woke up like, oh, damn, this isn't going to change. So, I'm a good thing I didn't give it my all. But I wouldn't
Well,
marry someone that I didn't give my all to, that I wasn't like totally deeply knowing that I'm unconditionally in love with them. There's no way.
why waste your time being with them in the first place?
That's what I just said. I just said I wouldn't marry. Oh, you mean? Oh, well, and previously, well,
Yeah.
I
No.
thought I could change it. I
Answer
thought
that.
I just thought I could change the person. I just told you that. I really believed in my heart I could. I mean, I would have had the baby.
She thought she could change the passwords to his bank account. That's what she thought she could change.
No, this is how twisted this Lifetime movie was. I was literally going to have the baby, go through all the steps of the process, and convince myself that we're going to have this great, happy life together with this business we were building, blah, 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 and that he would eventually be this really cool person that actually respected me, and wasn't, disrespectful and violent and mean.
Who are you talking about?
I just said my previous. You guys know who that
You're
is.
talking about the child that you said you knew that you couldn't be with for much longer?
Right. That's what I just said. Because I just said I was literally going through the steps of actually building this life, but knowing I was kidding myself, and so the baby was just an illusion. He wouldn't stop talking about it. Baby, I want you to have my baby. He wouldn't even stop talking about it. So I was like, okay, let's go to facility specialist. Let's do it. And when I get pregnant, I'll just build this happy life for fake, because there's no realistic way that you can change someone else. And knowing that, why would I have even gone as far as I did? Thank God I woke up one day. Somebody just helped me snap out of it, what's the matter with you, you idiot? Wake up. And then I woke up. So that was a long nightmare. But we go through things because these are lessons. I mean, women aren't that dumb, but I'm saying we learn something from each experience. I believe that really should help us grow and make better choices. You would think, but I'm very bullheaded and hard-headed and slow to learn. So, I mean, you guys know me by now. That's my nature. But we all have our issues like that. So you just have to figure it out.
All right. So on that note, the question, happy wife, statement, happy wife, happy life. How true do you think the statement is? Because I think on the news or something, if you keep your wife happy as a man, they don't nag you as much, you're less stressed, and you have a happier life. So that made the statement sound true to me. So I wanted to ask Logic, as a dude, how much do you agree with that statement, happy wife, happy life?
I don't agree with it at all. I mean, I think everybody is in charge of their own happiness. It's not my job to make your life feel, whatever way you want it to feel. That's not my job. That's your job. Now, if I can help you along the way, i.e., you tell me that you want to have a dinner, next weekend with friends or whatever, I'll do what I can to accommodate you and make you happy. I'll show up, look nice or whatever, chat. But when it comes to my existence being dedicated to, you just don't do anything anymore to make me happy, and that's a surefire way to get you dismissed. It's not my job. We're together to build something, to move forward. It's not my job to take time out of my life to make sure that you feel, are you happy? How do you feel? Are you okay? Do you whatever? Be honest, as a woman, and I'm pretty sure both of you are running across people like this, where you're around a guy, and throughout the entire time that you're with him, he's always, are you okay? How you feeling? Are you all right? Do you want to do this? Are you good? Blah, blah, blah. When he's just constantly...
Yeah, but that's going overboard. That's going way overboard. That's annoying. And like I said, that's going way overboard.
But no, that's just in quick succession. If you are with a guy in life and your relationship is spanning years and all of his time is devoted to, hey, what do you want to do this weekend or whatever, I'm telling you, by year 7 or so, you're going to start getting irritated. You know what I'm saying? When a dude is constantly looking in his wife's face, what do you want to do? Women don't want that. They want their guy to be a little mysterious and elusive. They don't want him to always be like, it's a beautiful day today. You want to go get some brunch? You want to call your friends? You want you want to take a what? No, women don't want that. They want a dude that has his own interests or whatever, and he's just mature and loving enough to make time for her. But she's not going to dominate his time.
Okay, but Logic, I don't think that's what that means, though. I mean, Kai, I really don't think that's what that means. I see this in movies all the time and just different scenarios.
Listen to what you said earlier, Char. You just put down a group of men because they like to play video games. Now, if you had a dude that pretty much made you happy, but he liked to play video games, you would not be happy. You'd be irritated, and you would let yourself continue to think about the fact he's playing those video games, and you would get yourself irritated enough to believe that your relationship is somehow missing one thing. And that's what a lot of women do. And they get to talking to a miserable friend that can't keep a man in her life. Oh, that's ridiculous. He's down there playing. What? You need to tell him that next thing you know, you got problems.
No. I was giving you an example of how I felt the immaturity of what men are. I could care less. For example,
you
Charles
could care
plays
less
video
if
games.
your man was doing something that you felt was immature.
He does it all the time. He plays them all the time. It doesn't bother me because that's his thing. It doesn't bother me. He spends more than enough time with me, and we have a great relationship. That doesn't bother me at all. I was only mentioning that because I was just thinking about the maturity level of how boys like their toys. That's what I was saying.
So you're happy being in a relationship with a dude that you feel is immature.
Like that.
That's what you're telling me?
What I'm saying is I'm one of those women who has a man who loves playing those games to the sun, just the cows come home. A lot of other women will probably have an issue with it, I can guarantee it, because you could be at a restaurant, it's like, okay, here we go, Space Invaders or poker or whatever, but it doesn't bother me. I've never had any issue with it. I don't complain. I don't make any. It just doesn't bother me because I feel like it
just
doesn't.
mentioned it a few
good with
minutes
the bad.
ago. What are you talking about? It doesn't bother you.
No, I was only giving that example about immaturity in general about men, how, for example, they play games until they're 60. I didn't say how often. You guys ran with that one. I didn't say that. But I know a lot of women, we've had a show about this, that will have an absolute fit because they feel like they're not paying attention to them. If I were to sit there and complain every time he's playing a game, I mean, my God, that's crazy. You weigh the good with the bad. That's what you do in any relationship. You say, okay, you know what? He likes playing his games a lot, but he also takes out the trash, or he also tells me I'm beautiful, or he also wants to, surprise me with this or that, or he also wants to talk and really listen, whatever. So you just weigh everything out. So that is not an issue for me, but it would be for a lot of women. But that was not my example earlier. I was only saying men in their toys, period, until their 60s, because that just seems to be a popular thing in our time period. Or, these games. So, no, I'm not one of those women. Maybe that's why every relationship I've had that I've been committed to has asked me to marry them because they know I'm the marrying type. And I'm the one that said no. I always said no. So, except for this last time. And obviously I was married before. But I was a child and I had a lot to learn still. But I'm very patient. I'm not judgmental like that. If I was, we'd be arguing all the time. Why are you playing that game again? I mean, I could and think that you're ignoring me. But happy wife, happy life, I thought that meant the woman is upset about something or she wants something, right? And the husband says, or the man says, oh, okay, she wants a diamond. She wants a necklace, or it's like, $1,000. And he says, well, honey, we really can't spend that. I really want it. Okay, you know what they say, happy wife, happy life. Go ahead, honey. Go ahead, sweetheart, take my card. Go ahead and charge it.
What it means is a man should put himself last and make sure whatever he does, he can keep that woman happy. Okay. And I personally feel that that's nonsense. I think everybody should be adults about it and be like, okay, well, I feel this way or that, and this is what it is. But people feel that no, in order to have a happy life, you need to do whatever. She's a man.
I just thought you guys never say no. I thought it meant you never say no. Whatever she wants, you say yes because you want to keep her happy. Those examples
that's exactly
that I
what I just said.
Like that. I mean, anything. I'm talking about mostly. I think it's a mental thing, opposed to, oh, can I get you anything to eat? Can I rub your feet? To me, that's just a wuss. To me, that's a different type of man. I'm just talking about the men who just were like, okay, she wants this, let me shut her up. She wants a new car. Okay, happy wife, happy life. Go ahead, honey. Go ahead and put it on the car. That's what I'm saying. That's what I honestly thought that meant. Because every time I've seen an example of that, that's what it was. So I'm like, wow, okay.
That's what you're describing. It's somebody who, like you just said, like wants something, the guy says no, she starts whining, and he ends up doing it anyway because he can't afford for her to be unhappy.
Oh, okay.
When anyone, even when people do this with children, where they try to make sure their children, I just want them to have a happy childhood and blah blah blah. So they just make sure they do any and all things to keep that child happy. But you end up just having a spoiled brat on your hands.
Right.
Same thing with women. It's the same thing with men. Like if a woman has a spoiled man that she constantly just gives him whatever he wants. And anytime she doesn't, he throws some kind of tantrum, like doesn't talk to her or whatever. It's a bad relationship.
That's being an enabler. That's not learning anything. That's not growing together. That's just, I don't think that's healthy. But there's different levels of what people consider happiness, Logic.
You always teeter in an area where I think that, okay, we've made some, and then you just jump off the deep end.
I'm not off the deep end, and anyway, I could swim even if I was.
She's like, yeah, I agree that's an immature relationship. Yeah, I agree too. Yeah, but everyone has different ideas of what the.
But they do. I mean, you're not going to do that for your wife, so who cares if everybody? And that's your choice. All I'm saying is that I think it's fake, when we just give someone everything they want. I think you're being an enabler. I think they're not learning or growing because some things in life the answer is no, is actually no. And some women will never learn that because their husbands are always going to say yes. So is it healthy? Probably not. But for that man, that keeps things cool and calm. And in essence, that translates to happy for him. And maybe for her too.
I personally think that it is the requirement of your guy to keep you happy, just like it's the requirement of, the woman to keep the man happy. I think it's vice versa. For you to say that, it's not my job, you should keep your own self happy, but I don't agree with that. Once you're in a relationship, yes, but sometimes as a human being, Wait. Sometimes as a human being, we need outside forces to help us with our inner quote unquote demons. So we do need to lean on somebody to keep us happy.
Okay, but what about the girl that is constantly unhappy? That she's one of these calamity Janes where it's always something wrong and it's always an issue, and you got one of these poor schmucks who are getting all through the week 2 and 3 calls while they're at work. This happened and that happened and blah, 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 and you don't care. What about that guy? Is it still his duty?
Well, that's his problem. If he doesn't want to do that, then don't be with a girl like that.
Well, that's what I said.
Nothing?
Because that's what they like. That's what they do.
Nothing?
That's what I was doing.
No, I agree. That's not a relationship to be in. That's why I'm saying it's not my job. I'll do what I can to, put a smile on your face, but I'm not going to make it a duty like, okay, I need to figure out.
But that's what I thought, Roderick. That's your choice. But some men feel like they keep the peace. They don't want to rock the boat. I personally think that's so ridiculous. Why would you just give anyone everything they want? I mean, that's just because later on it's gonna grow tired, or you're gonna run out of money, or whatever.
That woman's just gonna turn into a spoiled little bitch and always expect it. That's what's gonna happen.
Right. That's very true. Always expect it. Right. That's a whole other problem later. And then
I have a question. Do you think it's okay to break up with somebody, even though you got a kid together?
Is it okay to break up? I mean, sometimes you have to. Sometimes you don't have a choice. I think it's better.
But you don't think that old school type of thought process of, let's stay together for the kids, or at least until they're,
Absolutely. That's what I did. That's exactly what I did, but I regret it because honestly, I don't feel like it helped anything with my child. I don't feel like it was a healthier relationship for him with his parents, or even for him to see that it was dysfunctional. Why would you, but I made that same choice. Oh, we both did. Let's just stay together because I didn't, he didn't want a divorce. And I'm like, I want a divorce. He goes, no. We have a young child. Let's raise our child, so
well,
he can have both parents in the home.
Why do you regret that?
Because because the things that my son had to witness unnecessarily at the hands of my being concerned about, not being with his dad kind of thing, that to me, that's more of a you thing. And when I say you, I mean like a personal choice for the women. I think it's almost selfish. If it's not a healthy relationship, because obviously if someone's breaking up or getting a divorce, it's unhealthy in some way. If it's unhealthy, then, and you've tried everything, I don't mean just give up, you've tried everything, then you're affecting the child. That affects the child's mind, their decisions, how they look at life, their own relationships when they grow up. It has a lot to do with that. That's not always a good idea at all. That's sometimes the dumbest idea. So you're just going to stay in it because you just don't want to, for the child. I mean, the child will move on and get over it if you are honest with them and you still have enough love to show the child support, as the child is growing up, unfortunately, just from different homes. You just have to be civil enough to be able to do that. But that was just the easiest cop-out, and it was not the best decision. I wouldn't recommend it for anyone. If you absolutely have to go your separate ways, then you should do that and just remain civil and, as I said, maintain a good relationship on both ends for that child, and that's it, and keep it moving. Find your own happiness.
Okay. We have another question. How do I get over the insecurity of me thinking my husband is going to cheat on me?
Kai, you want to take that one?
No, it's all you, Char. You're the resident, You have a history of...
You did not. Oh, gosh. I don't think there is any getting over it. Those kind of relationships usually end up with they usually have a bad ending.
Wait a minute. No, listen, whether or not the relationship lasts, but what she's asking is how does she get over that? And you, as somebody who seems like you have a lot of confidence, you don't have any advice for her?
Oh, okay. You have to learn to trust again. It's all about trust. You have to give it time. Give it some time, and try not to bring up, that issue in future arguments. And eventually, you'll both learn to respect and trust each other again.
Well, she didn't say he did. She said a fear.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, let me retract that. Time and talking, communication. And then see where his head is, so that maybe you don't even have to feel that way. What if it's not even an issue? What if it's not going to be an issue? Do you know what I mean? What if he's not even?
Well, that's what I was going to get to. I think she needs to, get some therapy to figure out why she is so insecure that she assumes that her husband is going to cheat on her. That sounds like crippling self-esteem issues, which, for all she knows, is dictating other decisions that she's making in her life subconsciously. So she definitely needs to figure out what it is that's making her feel that she's this type of person that would be cheated on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's crazy. Got one more. My wife cheated on me with a mutual friend a couple of months before our wedding. How do I forgive this? How do I forgive her? Good inspiration.
Well, look, what do you think?
Yeah, he definitely would be talking to the wrong person. I would not.
That's why I said logically.
I would definitely dismiss her and be done with it. It would be nothing that she can say.
Or do.
I mean, we're getting married, so at that point, if it's months away, you've already been planning it, and that she cheats on you then. No, that's insane. I don't know. I don't know how you could get over that personally.
Best belief you do.
Personally, so let me answer this one. Personally, you cheated on me before our wedding, so I I was going to marry you. I loved you enough that I was going to marry you, and you cheated on me with one of our friends, forgive you? Forgive? Forgive is a strong word. Yeah. I don't know. I think the most I could forgive you is I'll never see you again. That's about it. Because think about it, listener. That's before your wedding. Right before your wedding, where she should have been planning your wedding and thinking about, how happy she's going to be to spend the rest of her life with you, the rest of her life with one guy, your last name, kids, family, integrated lives, et cetera, and she decided to sleep with somebody both of y'all know. So basically she didn't even care about your feelings in the first place. And that's before your wedding. So what do you think is going to happen after your wedding, now that she is tied down to you, and it's going to be harder for you to get away from her? So, and you're already calling her. I guess I'm rereading the question. I guess you married her because you said my wife cheated on me with a mutual friend a couple of months before our wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So I need more information about this question. Like, did you find out about it after y'all were married, and now that's why you're saying, how do you forgive her? That's right. Completely different. If that's the thing,
he could have definitely found out afterwards.
Yeah, I think it's past tense.
Yeah. So that's kind of different. So how would you answer that in that context, Logic?
You said how what?
How would you answer it in that context?
In that context? So now he found out after they were married. Should he try and forgive her, or is it like divorce time?
Well, it depends how he found out. If she sat him down and told him, and if it was one time and she was just like, I can't go on like this, I feel, blah, 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 because I did this, and I just wanted to let you know. Like, she could have definitely gotten away with it, but she decided to be honest with him, then there is some merit there, especially if she has done the work. I say this all the time. If somebody just says, I cheated on you, and I'm sorry, that means nothing. But if they're doing work to, like, do you remember that I started going to a therapist 2 months ago? Like, yeah, well, that's what it was about. I'm trying to figure out why I did that, because I love you. But so it's different. Like, you can't just say sorry like it's a toddler that just broke your VCR or something. You as an adult, in my opinion, you have to show work. You know what I mean? So if she was very humble and had been doing work to fix herself and told him this, and she could have got away with it, then that would give me pause. I'm not saying that I would still continue, but that would give me pause. But if he found out on his own and then she came clean because he confronted her, she's a sneak. And either way, he needs to just go.
Anything. Very dishonest, because she wasn't going to say anything. She just got caught. I mean, if that's the case.
Yeah.
You really can't tell someone like that. How do you move on?
I agree with Logic. Yeah, because you don't know what she's going to do next. You don't even know what she's done since then, if she's still sleeping with the guy. So you don't know. We only have 60 seconds.
Go ahead.
I was going to say we only have 60 seconds left, and I wanted to say one thing about the previous question, how do I get over the insecurity of thinking my husband is going to cheat on me? Also, if you don't get over that insecurity, he's going to leave you. You're going to annoy the crap out of him until he just leaves you. So I would suggest, like Logic said, go get therapy and get over it. Next week, we are going to be talking fetishes. What are your sexual fetishes? So that's what we're going to be bringing up next week. And BJ's actually going to be back, so he's going to tell us about Fashion Week. I'm kind of excited to see what's going on up there in New York. So I do want to say thank you for joining us, and we will see y'all next week. Thank you for your questions, and peace out, everyone. And also, Go meditate after Char has killed like 50% of your brain cells. Just meditate so they can grow back, even though they don't really grow back.
We have a surprise. We have a surprise guest next week. My 32-year-old son is actually going to come on and introduce himself and answer some questions. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great week.
See?
Goodbye now.